Hey everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I am your host, and I'm sure happy to be here. As always, you are listening live to 1-2 Radio. I'm playing with Facebook Live and had a problem. Okay, we're good. Who said moms can multitask? Apparently not. If you are listening live, it is the 28th of March at 10 a.m. Pacific. If you're listening to an archive or a replay, I want to welcome you to the show. I want to let you know that we're over in the chat room, and you can get there by heading over to 12radio.com, clicking on the chat button, and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. And it is a Facebook group, so I know some of you have some really funky feelings about Facebook right now, so I'm sorry about that, but it is the way to get here. I also want you to know that I am live streaming this event from the chat room, so if you'd like to watch, all you have to do is get into that chat room and scroll down and you'll find the live stream. So that's how it all works. I hope you guys are having a great week. It's a little sad at my house. Our kitty got hit by a car yesterday and broke our hearts. And so, yeah, we're a little blue around here. We're feeling pretty bad about that. He was a wanderer, you know. He came into our lives through wandering right in through our bedroom windows and started sleeping in our beds and informed us that he lives here back in September. And so we let him move in. I said, is this how you get a cat? Because it seems like we have a cat. I have always felt like maybe Jeff wouldn't be here that long. I don't know that I thought he would die. I thought maybe he would just move on because he seems to be a traveling man. And I guess he did. But anyway, we're feeling a little, well, not even a little, real sad about that. But it's what it is, right? It wouldn't hurt so much if we didn't love him so much. That's what I always say. So I was not going to talk about that on the air, and I blurted it out. So now I'm going to compose myself so that we can move on to maybe happier moments. So I want you guys to know that it's an interesting week. You know, I write the 1-2 weather report every week for you guys, and it gives me a pretty good sense of what's going on, you know, collectively, energetically. And I was a little dismayed this week by the 1-2 weather report. It was pretty flat. It was down a little bit, and I thought, oh my gosh. And then I received Jamie's article that she puts in Luminous in the magazine, and it was pretty flat. And I was a little worried, and I messaged her and said, oh my God. And she said, yeah, buckle up your seatbelts, right? And I said, yeah. And so I hope you're all hanging in there. I will say that we have some great days this week, and we have some pretty flat days this week. So if you're feeling like you're on a bit of a roller coaster this week, that could be why. And I'll share the whole 1-2 weather report with you here in just a minute. But I just wanted to bring that up. If you're feeling like things are a little weird in your world, it could be because they're a little weird in everybody's. So did you see that Joe Biden said that if he'd been in high school with Trump, he would have beat him up? And, oh, Joe, why would you say that? And then, of course, Trump slung back to Joe that, you know, he'd beat him up and blah, blah, blah. And I have to wonder, what the hell kind of world are we living in that former vice president and the current president are threatening to beat each other up via social media? But what do you do, right? This is just the world we're living in. But I think about that collective energy and how chaotic it is right now, and I think, well, I'm guessing that everybody has been pretty affected by where we're at energetically. So that one made me chuckle a little bit. I don't know, sit with my mouth agape and laugh a little too. Sometimes all you can do is laugh, right? Anyway, I have a couple of things happening I want you guys to know about. The first is that I have finally scheduled my alchemy classes. So the classes are called Accessing Your Inner Alchemist. So the first class is Ethereal Alchemy Part 1. It is going to be happening on April 29th. That's a Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. And this will be the class where you learn all about ethereal crystals, how to access them, and we'll start introing into ethereal metals. So this is the art of using the spirit of or the luminescence of a thing, a crystal and a metal, combining them to create a new property and then using it in the body or in a place or a thing. But that's what it's all about. This is work I've been talking about it for close to a year. A couple of weeks ago, Kai Greenway on the Long Road interviewed me about the ethereal metals and talking about that part of it. So I had promised that I was going to teach this class, and I hadn't quite had the bug yet. This is what happens for me. I'll know something's coming or something I do want to do, but I'm waiting for the right vibe to strike, right? That's just kind of how I operate. It's how my whole world works. And so I've been waiting. I actually taught it in person in February, and it was fantastic. Really powerful group. And I went, I need to bring this to my 1-2 world. So it's finally time. So I'm really excited about it. So I'm putting a link for the first class up in the chat room. I do want you guys to know that if you have some background in energy work, even if you just do it on your own and don't have any, professional training, that's fine. But if you have a little background in energy work, this is a class for you. If you don't, I'm not going to say you can't take it. I hate that exclusionary stuff. I truly do. But I will tell you that I don't know if you'll get as much out of it. And maybe you'll blow my mind, and you will. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I would never judge you or tell you that it's not right for you. I'm just going to say that I have felt like maybe people who had a little background in energy work would thrive more with this class. But you decide. Seriously. There's no judgment on it, really. So the first link is up. Again, it's not happening for a month, so you have all kinds of time. The second class will happen 2 weeks later. I'm going to give you 2 weeks to really practice the crystals, angle of it, and then register for the metals part. You do have to take the crystal part to come to the metals part. So here's the thing. It'll be a Facebook Live event in a secret room, so you can attend it that way. There will be a recording of all of it, so if you can't come live, just purchase it and I'll send it to you as soon as it's over. So there's lots of ways to come. So if you want to come, you can definitely come. I'm thinking maybe the UPS man is here. My dogs are letting me know. So that's coming. We'll definitely be talking more about it, but I want to give you guys lots of notice because it's a big deal. It's a big class. It's something that has been building in me for quite some time, and I'm really excited and honored to bring it to you guys. It is a sacred thing to me. Kelly wanted to know if this was a Pioneer Woman mug. It is. A while back I discovered how much I love Pioneer Woman's all of her kitchen stuff and home decor stuff. Oh my God, I could redo my life in her stuff. And so I bought myself a mug, and then for Valentine's Day, Scott bought me a mug, and my daughter Matea bought me a mug. So I'm rolling in them. Yeah. I can't wait for Mother's Day. I'm going to put in some orders, I think. Canisters. That's what I want next, is the canisters. I have these ugly plastic canisters, and I could have Pioneer Woman canisters. Why wouldn't I? Okay, wow, what a dork. Gotcha. All right. So that's the class. I put a link in the chat room. You can also find it over at 12academy.com under me. Both classes are there. So that's the way to connect to that. Now, the other thing is that I want to tell you guys about a new reading I have, and that segues right into what the show is today. Last week here on the show, I was asked by Spirit to do past life channelings for you guys that were focusing on positive traits that you have and other lifetimes where you built those skills. Times where you were successful in that, times where you were a master of that property or that skill or that emotion, or it's always kind of different, so I won't say for sure. But anyway, it was such a cool show. We had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of great feedback. Several of you have called me over at 12Listen for that work since then. So I thought that we would, do that again on the show today. So If you would like to have past life channeling today, please let me know in the chat room. Also, I have a link I'm putting in the chat room right now. This is a video reading over at 12listen.com. You can buy it through my email reading section, and it's actually a video reading. And then I will do the reading, but it is about finding times where you were a powerhouse, where you were a force to be reckoned with, where you were a true badass. We're going to dig into those lives. We're going to pull that energy forward. It's all about empowering you. I'll be honest, sometimes past life work is upsetting as hell. It is. It's good growth. I mean, it creates good things in you, but sometimes it's pretty upsetting. And I feel like, I've always felt like no one should go into past life regression for fun. They should go into it if they want growth. But these are a little bit different, and they're not heavy. They're powerful and empowering. And so I'm loving these readings. I'm having a ball with them. And so that's what we'll do on the show today once we get through all of our regular things. But again, you can buy this video reading, and then I'll actually do 3 lives for you. I'll spend about 20 minutes with you doing all of that. Good morning, my dear friend Katie in the chat. Good morning, beautiful. It's nice to see you too. Okay. All right. So there is all of that. I think that let's go ahead and take a look at Luminous, at the magazine. I'm going to give you guys a link in the chat room, but you can also find it by heading over to katie-weaver.com and just going straight into the Katie's magazine link or button at the top of the page, and you can find it there. You can also subscribe there if you would like to. Once I publish on Monday, I send the magazine out as a newsletter, so you can always get it that way from me too. So it's nice for you to subscribe if you'd like to, because then I get a better feel for, you know, who's benefiting, who wants it, who likes it, and it helps me to be better. So I would love it if you guys would subscribe if you haven't already. Alrighty, so we do have, of course, the full moon is coming at the end of the week, and we'll see how that goes. It has kind of felt like a full moon week. I wondered when Jamie and I were discussing this wildness of this energy, if maybe she's just creating some early chaos for us. Sometimes that happens. We'll see. The magazine this week, I called it, I always read through the articles and then I call the magazine something, the something edition, right? So this week it's the Seekers edition, because there's just a common thread right now of people looking for peace, looking for something. And so the Seekers edition, because it seems like we're all seeking right now, seeking some healing. I've talked to a lot of you guys that are seeking some healing right now. All right, then let's look at the 1-2 weather report. So, of course, this is the weather report that I write for you guys for 1-2 News, but I always like to share it here too. But you can find it as a daily reading. I make daily postcards over on my Instagram page, and that's Domestic Mystic on Instagram. So if you want to, just go and subscribe there, then you'll see the daily reading. That's kind of nice too, to just get your own finger on the pulse of the weekly energy, or the daily energy. So let's start with Wednesday. You may feel a little empty today. Sometimes you can feel lonely even in a crowded room. This would be a good day to reach out to someone who knows you and loves you well for some comfort and reassurance. Thursday, you will feel a little withdrawn today. Current events in your life have your heart hurting, and you don't know how to express that. It is okay to have all types of emotions. You don't have to be happy and bright all the time. You may need to reach out to a trusted friend or advisor today to talk out your feelings. Friday, it has been a roller coaster of a week, and you will likely be seeking some balance today. While you may feel like you would like to retreat to your bed for the weekend, be sure to balance that need with some fun and social time. Saturday, this is the most creative day this week. Take advantage of that energy to get a few things done. Your home, pets, family, and friends could all use a bit of your attention today. You may also feel compelled to work on some of your own projects. Maybe you'll be compelled to work out. Who knows? Sunday, the world is in conflict, and for empathic souls, that can be a suffocating, defeating energy. Today, you may find yourself feeling beat down by the collective energy. You would benefit from some time outside, some energy work, and some meditation. So that's the 1-2 weather report. And again, you can find that written over on my Instagram page over at Domestic Mystic. It's a daily reading, or you can find the whole thing right here in the magazine. All right, and then our crystal guidance this week comes to us from Christy. She is bringing us green calcite. So that is a raw piece of green calcite that some friends mined for us. Pretty cool. Green calcite eases anxiety, improves mood, and supports a sense of peace. So if you're feeling chaotic, if this week it's kicking your ass, get some green calcite. It also just feels really good in the hand. It's kind of waxy. It feels peaceful and reassuring, and it always feels cool to me. It's just one of those stones that feels cooling and like it can diffuse the heat in situations that maybe call for that. And then she brings us a card from her Energy Oracle deck. This is her Kindred Spirits Energy Oracle deck. And this is she brought to us this week the Archangel Raphael card. So the Archangel Raphael card, the primary message is healing, time to rest, self-care, seek comfort, offer support to others, develop energy healing skills, get energy healing, and the heart chakra. The challenges would be pain, illness, injury, emotional damage, and trauma. The crystal, of course, is green calcite. And the meditation: Dear Archangel Raphael, please come to me and heal me. Surround me in a bubble of green light and bring me comfort. Let's hear that one more time. Dear Archangel Raphael, please come to me and heal me. Surround me in a bubble of green healing light and bring me comfort. So that's a beautiful one, and I always love her meditations. They're so spot on and perfect for us. So that's a great one. And you can, of course, find that over there. You can also find her cards. You can find her cards over on our website, over at christybrower.com, and you can order yourself a set so that you can give yourself daily Kindred Spirits readings. Alrighty, and then, of course, you'll see all of the rest of our articles for the week. We have articles from Jamie Dawn, from Brittany, from Kai, from McLean, a whole bunch of from Elizabeth Lindsay. I don't want to miss anybody. And I might, because I'm scattered today, but so it is. Anyway, so I would love for you to have a sit down with the rest of the magazine and read through it. And as always, if you read something that really touches you, that gives you some affirmation, it's always a wonderful thing to reach out to the author and let them know. That makes a big difference for people who are, potentially suffering a little bit. Or not suffering, good Lord. That makes a big difference for people. I'm still on Archangel Raphael. That makes a big difference for the author. A lot of the authors, they put a lot of time into their stuff. And I'll tell you right now, I've been writing stuff for, a million years. And you don't get a lot of feedback. And it's okay. It really is. But every once in a while, it's wonderful to get a note from someone that something you wrote touched them, or gave them an idea, or frequently with animal communication stuff, somebody will share a story with me about one of their animals, and that's healing for them. It's wonderful for me. So whenever you find an article that does something for you, it's wonderful if you reach out to the author and give them a little affirmation. Okay, the tip of the week this week, I wanted to make sure I brought your attention to. It's in the magazine. This is my joyful mopping tip. Is there such a thing as joyful mopping? There is. Some people clean the house when they're pissed off, right? And clean angrily, and that's okay. Sometimes it's a great way to burn off some steam, but you can also clean in joy. This is the joyful mopping routine. So take your bucket, you'll combine a cup of white vinegar, a half a teaspoon of dish soap, no more, and if you have hard floors, less than that. Hardwood floors, less than that, or it gets streaky. 15 drops of bergamot oil, 3 carnelian crystals, 3 gallons or so, depending on your bucket, of hot water. So fill up your bucket, that's how you make your mop water. And then put your hands over your bucket and bless it with the intention of spreading joy throughout your home. So you have to bless it. You're using the crystals to help promote joy. You're using the bergamot oil to help to promote joy, but also to sustain mood. And then mop your house and mop it in joy. Mop it in a sense of, I'm spreading joy throughout this house for me and everyone else here to benefit from. Turn on some music that you love. Make it fun and make it joyful. You'll notice sometimes that your house just feels pretty blah and mundane. You might notice that the people who live there seem to just be going through the motions and aren't really living and enjoying at this point. Sometimes it's a wonderful thing to do a little clearing or do a little magic in your house that just helps to brighten everything up. So I love the joyful mopping exercise for that. So that's the tip this week. And again, you'll find it over in Luminous Magazine. And so then I hope that you do take some time to read the rest of the articles. And of course, you can subscribe to it over on my Facebook page. Over on my website at katie-weaver.com. So that's the deal. All right, guys. Let's do a little vibrational therapy. Let's do some singing bowl work. I actually brought one of my big crystals to the table this morning because I really want to fill up the room. I want to give you guys a good balancing. We're going to do solar plexus work today. So your solar plexus, of course, is the chakra in the center of your belly, right above your belly button. This is your sense or your place of self-esteem, of personal power, of self-worth. And sometimes the solar plexus needs a major roto-root, right? Sometimes we need to clear out all of the old cords and debris and doubt and pain and suffering and frustration that builds up right here in your belly. And sometimes your solar plexus just gets really flat. Sometimes I see people's like these big flat discs instead of the circulating ball of energy I want to see. Sometimes they don't look like that at all. So I think sometimes it makes a lot of sense to do some balancing there. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to play the bowl. And while I do that, we're going to do 2 sessions. So the first session with the bowl, I'd like you to hold the energy of allowing the vibration of the singing bowl to vibrate all the way through your body and your spirit, completely releasing anything that you're carrying that doesn't serve your highest and best purpose, all the way through your solar plexus. So let's do that part now. All right, this bowl's so big that it's on a pedestal. I can't hold it. So, big wimp. All right, here we go. Perfect. Okay, so that's the release, right? So now we want to go back to putting your consciousness into, or directing your consciousness to your solar plexus. And we're going to now shift our work. We're going to allow the vibration of the singing bowl to completely fill up and energize your solar plexus, bringing you to a place of inner peace, a bright light emanating from your solar plexus, lighting up your world, and really strengthening that sense of self and that sense of personal power. So that's what we'll do. I'm going to see if I can't lift it up because I know you guys in the Facebook Live would like to see the bowl. Let me see if I can hold it for you for this part. Okay. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Okay, so there we go. So lighting up that belly, maybe releasing some tension, and of course just really strengthening your solar plexus. Perfect, very good. Okay. I have smaller solar plexus bowls, but that one just really wanted to be played today. So I think she's getting tired of being sat aside because she's too big. That seems so unfair. All right, let's do our ground, bless, protect, and move reading for the week. And then we'll move on to some past life readings. So, alrighty, so you guys know this deck is my deck. This is the deck I published with my sisters. And you can get more information about that over on my website under Katie's Oracle cards at katie-weaver.com. But there's 5 parts to this deck because it's all about spiritual self-care and all of the different components of it. So of course it's our belief that in spiritual self-care there is a need to ground yourself, bless yourself, protect yourself, move yourself. And then there's some boost cards to just give you some additional ideas of things you can do to perk yourself up. So I'm pulling a few cards here along those lines. And then I'll tell you, so these are just your little marching orders for the week. So I like the idea of having some additional ideas for self-care because I think that it gets a little, if it gets mundane, it may be something you just stop doing. And I think that spiritual self-care is as important as physical self-care, but it's the thing that we probably slack off on the most. So I like the cards and I like to give the reading because it gives you some ideas of some things you can do to support yourself. So we'll start with ground. So the ground card this week is the rainbow card. Now, does that mean you have to chase down a rainbow? Well, no, because you may not have one, right? But grounding, what it means is grounding with the full spectrum of the rainbow. So the way you do this is you close your eyes. And in fact, let's just do it right now. So close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths with me. And imagine that you're sitting at the end of a rainbow, allowing the end of that rainbow to pour over the top of your head, all the way through your body, sending every spectrum of color of the rainbow all the way through you and deep down into the earth, grounding you to that energy, grounding you to the full spectrum of colors, providing you with whatever it is you need. I like this ground because it's pretty light. And for people who don't like to be heavily grounded or deeply grounded into the earth, because not everybody does. Some of you really light, airy little fairy spirits, you don't like feeling too deeply grounded to the earth. So I like the rainbow grounding because it's a little bit less heavy and intense for some people. All right, the blessed card is the sacral chakra. Sacral chakra, right below your belly button. It's usually orange. This is the center of sexuality, creativity, and joy. And sometimes the sacral gets all kinds of screwed up. I see it so much in women who are feeling pretty repressed in a lot of ways and are really struggling to find that joy center and are struggling to allow themselves to be creative because for whatever reason, they feel like they're not, and it sucks because it's hard to find yourself in a place of having enough confidence to allow yourself to create. And by creativity, I mean anything that you can do with your hands, right? So yes, creativity is art, but creativity is also cooking, it's gardening, it's decorating, it's taking care of yourself, it's problem solving. Creativity goes a lot of different directions, and no one is better than another. But for all of you who think that you are not creative people, yes, you are. You're just not giving yourself credit for what you do. Some of the best writers I know will tell you they're not that creative. And I wonder what the hell they're talking about. But they got pigeonholed into some idea of creativity that they weren't good at. And so they decided at some point they're not very creative, which just isn't true. But blessing the sacral chakra. So usually I like to use an essential oil to anoint the chakra. That's my personal preference. You don't have to, but I like to. And for the sacral, I would choose sandalwood. You could use frank too, but either one. Or if there's something else that feels better to you, geranium is another one that people like for the sacral. Or orange, you decide. But you would put your hands over your sacral chakra and bless it with the properties that you would like. So think about what is happening in your sacral that you want to support, what isn't happening in your sacral that you'd like to create. So you might put your hands over your sacral and give it some kind of a blessing like, I bless my sacral chakra today to emote joy and help me to find joy in all things. I bless my sacral chakra to allow waves of creative energy to flood through my system, giving me many good ideas and the confidence to implement them, or whatever it is that's right for you. And then you take a drop of your oil, so wipe it through that or through the sacral. The anointing of the oil just seals in the blessing. That's the idea behind it. So that's how you do it. So blessing the sacral. All right, the protect card is the talisman, which is so fun. I didn't plan this, but I'm actually wearing a talisman today. This is a little piece of purple jasper that a dear friend of mine gave me when I did her wedding. So sweet. And it's become a talisman for me when I feel like I need some spiritual support. And right now, of course, I have some children at my house that need a great deal of spiritual support. And so I'm supporting myself so that I can support them. So I'm wearing a talisman today. But a talisman is anything that you can wear or carry that has some kind of influence for you, some kind of spiritual influence, some kind of a protective influence. You bless it with what you want it to do, and then you wear it or carry it. It's kind of fun when you have something going on in your world and you decide, you know what, I need a talisman, I need a protection, to get to decide, I'm going to use this special coin that my grandpa gave me, or I'm going to go to the store or get online and purchase something specifically for it, or I'm going to make something. Whatever you decide to do, but choose a piece that you can dedicate to this purpose. And then you hold it in your heart and tell it what you want it to do. Remember, the intention is king, and so you want to bless it with your intention for it and then wear it. So that's the protect card. Move card is swim, and I'm laughing about that because this was our move card last week. And I told you guys last week that I actually just bought a set of these barbells just like this. Well, mine are pink and gray because I swim a few times a week. And I said, I have these ladies in the pool. But there's always going to be a move card because moving helps to release stagnant energy in your body. It helps you to amp up some of the happy hormones in your brain. And sometimes for some people, moving creates a meditative space. So I love move. I love the move part of this deck. But I always will tell you, if this isn't something you do something else. Even if it's just walk around the block. This isn't about crazy exercise. If you want to go jog 5 miles, more power to you. If you don't, more power to you. There is absolutely no judgment, right? Absolutely none. So, however you do it, do a little movement this week with the intention that you are taking great care of your spirit by moving your body. All right, and then here it is. This is the boost card. It's the happy distractions card. So you've got so much on your mind. This is a good time to distract yourself with something light. Read a good book, go to a funny movie, or do something else that you find fun and easy. You know, sometimes when life is beating you up a little bit, or sometimes when you're just feeling pretty blah, a happy distraction is the best thing you can do for yourself. So think about what you can do to distract yourself if you need to. Have some fun. Do something that feels great. We rented Ferdinand the other night. Have you guys seen it? You may not have. It's a cartoon. But it was so cute. It's about Ferdinand the bull. He's a bull in Spain who does not want to fight. And he grows to be a massive bull who is built for the ring, and yet he doesn't want to be a fighter. And the story of Ferdinand it's very sweet. It's really cute and a happy little story, and it was our happy distraction the other night. I think it's a great one, but you decide what happy distraction would be great for you, and you do that. All right, so that's your Ground, Bless, Protect, and Move reading for the week. And again, if you would like to have a deck of those cards for yourself, just go over to katie-weaver.com, click on the Katie's Oracle Cards link, and you can get all the information there. So that's all I'll say about that. Alrighty, I am heading into the chat room. Let's have some fun. Okay. And let's have some coffee. Alrighty, here we go. Okay, Beth would love a channeling. All right, Beth, you are the first contestant today. Let's go. Okay, before I start, I'll say this. I told you guys this last week too, but I don't know why I feel like it has to be said, but channeling work is choppy and it takes a minute. And I feel like I sometimes hesitate to channel on the radio because it creates, I think, some gaps. And I kind of hate that, you know, or in radio world, you're taught to not have gaps, right? We don't have dead air. That's a frowned on thing. But in channeling work, sometimes there just is, because it just takes a minute to get all of that together. So if there's some dead air, that's why. Sorry if that's annoying to you. It actually is annoying to me. But to do quality work here, it's going to be what it is, right? So that's all. All right, Beth, here we go. Okay, Beth, they are showing me a life. They're showing me these delicate hands and fingers and these gentle hands and fingers. This is a life where you were a botanist. You worked with flowers and plants. They're showing me all this delicate little work you're doing with your hands and fingers, and with flowers. So you actually, this was quite some time ago, but you had a lab of sorts, so you know it would be nothing like a lab you'd see now, and you had a male companion. You were female. You had a male companion that Yeah, I believe he was your lover, your husband, he was your companion, but you were both scientists of sorts. I wouldn't say that you were maybe classically trained, right? But you were self-trained. And so what they're showing me is you like cross-pollinating and creating new things, you know, combining parts of one plant to create another and things like that. You were almost an alchemist, really, but it was all with plants and flowers. And then they're showing me this incredible little flower garden that you had behind your home, walking through it and sitting in it. It was like, and so it wasn't so much about maybe vegetables, but it was about flowers. This was you creating different kinds of flowers. So getting the colors you wanted. You were so patient because you could create things, you know, create new varieties, and then have the patience to let them grow, and then maybe take what you had from them and create more new things from that. And anyway, it's so interesting to see what you're doing with it. But they're telling me that your gentleness and your kindness and your ability to be patient and to allow things to be what they are is one of your superpowers in this lifetime, your current lifetime. That things around you thrive because of the kindness of your spirit, because of who you are. And so this life, it's not so much about the botany part of it, it's more about the part of it that things learn to thrive and pop up around you. And that's just who you have become. So, you know, that may not seem like such a massive thing, but it really is, because you are good at allowing things to grow and flourish in your world. And now in this lifetime, is it plants? Isn't it? It doesn't matter. I don't know that it is. I think more than that, it's people. That you are excellent at allowing people to grow, allowing people to flourish around you, and that you do a really good job of helping people to grow and to be healthy and okay. So that's what comes up for me. It's a really interesting life, Beth. If I were you, I would ask for a dream to be able to go visit it and see a little bit more about it. The garden, it's like a cottage garden full of all these different kinds of flowers, and you astonish people around you because they couldn't figure out how you had these flowers in these colors and things, because you had these ingenious ways of creating new stuff. It's really cool, actually. Okay, Nancy. All right, Nancy, here we go. Okay, this is the life around the time of Arthur. You were a guardian of women. You were a female in that lifetime, but you were heavier on masculine energy, and you were a guardian and a caretaker of a group of women. Like, it almost feels like Avalon to me, you know, or something along those lines, but a group of women. It was almost like a village of women, and you were a guardian of them. You weren't a part of them, in that you didn't actually do what they did, whatever they were doing. This looks like some kind of worship of some sort. That wasn't your job at all. Your job was to be a guardian of their lands. And so you didn't live amongst them, but this was what you did. You were tough as hell. But you know what? I don't feel like it was a time where necessarily that men and women had different callings. Like, it was okay for you to be doing what you were doing, and that it wasn't like women couldn't or anything like that. But you were kind of a loner. You were kind of lonely, I think, sometimes. But you did, I mean, I feel like you were kind of like migratory almost. Like, you traveled around their world, you know, around their lands. keeping an eye on the perimeter, basically, but you did most of the things you did. You were all by yourself, and you were okay, I think, with being alone for the most part. I feel like it was kind of lonely work, though. But basically what you learned from that and what you brought into this lifetime was a really fierce sense of independence. That you can do anything you need to for yourself. You don't need a man to do it for you. You don't need anybody to do it for you. I feel like when you were little, you were probably so independent that it drove your mom crazy. You know, you were the 3-year-old who refused to let anybody put your shoes on you, and you'd do it whether it took you 20 minutes or not. But that fierce sense of independence in you, you really had that in that lifetime. But also you have a noble energy about you that I feel like you would never intentionally let someone down. And this may be partly just because of your empathy, but if anything goes wrong for people around you, you will rack your brains wondering if it could in any way be your fault, or if there was something you could have done or done differently. You know, even when it's stuff that was absolutely, definitely not, you know, related to you in any way, you'll still have those thoughts of what could I have done? What should I have done? And I feel like this is partly from that life. And so they're also telling me that you have dreams sometimes about feeling like you're supposed to be doing something. You have this pressing energy that you're supposed to be doing something or taking care of something. And they're saying that's from that lifetime, because you were actually a little bit anxious in that you were very vigilant about your job and making sure that you kept everybody safe and okay. So it's a really interesting life. You had a lot on your shoulders. Okay. All right, Karen. This is Karen. I feel like we might have more than one Karen, so I want to make sure that maybe we don't. Okay, I think we're okay. All right, Karen, here we go. It is so bright and sunny, what I'm seeing. So it's so bright and sunny, bright blue sky, not a cloud in it. You are walking down a trail and you're carrying an armload of books. You are a school teacher. You're a school teacher in it's like a one-room school. No, it is a one-room school, sorry. You're really young. I mean, like, barely older than your students young. I feel like you had to get out of the home that you were raised in. It wasn't a healthy environment. And basically when you were in poverty, and when you became old enough to get out of the house, you had to get out of the house. You weren't welcome to stay there. And so this teaching job was basically arranged for you. You didn't want to do it. Initially, you didn't want to do it. You didn't feel like you were qualified in any way to do it. But it was basically kind of dropped on you as a way to get rid of you. And you knew that. You resented it for a while. But I actually feel like you ended up in a place where the people were so much kinder than where you came from. I feel like what happened is that you went from being more of in a larger town or a larger city to being in more of a country setting. And the people just embraced you so kindly, and you really found your calling there in being able to help others, to connect with children. You didn't think that you even liked kids or wanted to do this again, but you actually absolutely fell in love with the town and the kids. I feel like you were there for quite some time, and that you then married there and stayed there. Eventually you weren't the teacher anymore, but that's how it started for you. in this little community. So they're saying that one of the things that you really learned in that life and took with it is a really strong sense of loyalty and community, and that you still have that now, that you have that more on a world scale now, that you look at the whole, the country, the world, you know, but definitely your community in a sense of, like you have a great sense of knowing that you need to help and wondering how to help, and that you do, you know, you have a good sense of needing to be involved in your community, and that's where that came from in this life. But they're also showing me that you just really grew to love books and learning in that lifetime, and even though it really didn't start that way, but that's how it became for you, and that you still have a really deep reverence for teaching, for learning, for teachers, and that's really where it started for you. So it's a really sweet life. I love it because it looked like a pretty rough start with some pretty unpleasant people, and that really grew for you into a part of who you are now in such a lovely way. And that I love that you stayed there. You stayed there, and you married there, and you had children there, and it became your whole world. And it was because people there were kind to you, so much kinder than the where you came from. And I don't know, it kind of warms up my heart to see that kind of success story, that because people chose to be kind, because people chose to accept you and, you know, bring you into their world with open arms, it changed your whole life. It became your whole life. And I think that's who you are now, is someone who does that for others. So that's where it's at for you, Karen. I think that's a pretty cool thing. So good on you. All right. Nancy says, that is so cool. It does explain those dreams and my need to take care of women. Yep, most definitely, Nancy. So interesting. Alrighty, guys. Okay. I think that, yeah, we have definitely done it. So a couple of things I would like you to know. Of course, you will find me tomorrow with the Psychic Sisters here on 1-2 Radio. You can also find me, of course, on Mondays with the 1-2 News Show with Christy. And also, you want to look for me over at 12listen.com for the rest of the day and evening. You can also, of course, check out any of my readings over there. I have lots of time-based services, lots of email readings. You can get more information about me by going over to katie-weaver.com, and all of my stuff is there. My book, my oracle cards, my magazine, all of the deets are there. And then my YouTube channel. So you can find me, The Domestic Mystic, on YouTube. And I would love it if you guys subscribe to that channel so that you get my videos as they come out. I occasionally have a new little tutorial of some sort coming out, and I love to share that with you as well. So much good stuff. And please start thinking about my class, and if that's good for you, if you want to be involved in studying alchemy with me, I would love to have you guys there. And of course, you can find that over at 1-2 Academy. So thank you guys so much for being here. Please stay tuned. There's so much more great radio to come. You're listening to 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.